It is 7 o'clock again.
Well, we must be live because I got a Twitter notification of 92%.
Hey, it's Tuesday again. Every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. It's like church on Sunday. Sunday's coming every Sunday.
I don't know that I would akin what we do to being like church. I don't think that would be accurate.
I mean, it might be. Let's see. Is it John 2:14 and 2:15? Like one of my favorite verses in the Bible, where Jesus comes in and literally fashions his own whips. I've probably mentioned this before on the show, and flips over the money changers, tables, and all that in the temple and all that. I mean, maybe there's a little biblical analogy to that.
Yeah, but our whips don't work. If our whips worked, there would be more than 8% turnout at a tax election.
Ah, you're doing the math again. That hard math is doing pretty good there, because you're right. 8% turnout means 92% of people don't give up. Well, expletive, beep, 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 beep.
They could care less. And look, of that 8%, I mean, what? 6%? No, 8%, or I don't know. It doesn't matter. A majority of 8% support taxing the hell out of everybody. I mean, I guess that's probably not in the Bible somewhere, but
well, probably not. But I always like to every time that I can, I like to refer back to literally my favorite verse in the Bible, where Jesus shows his temper, beats the hell out of people, and, makes them pay for it. And fashioned his own whips. It was premeditatively done, I might add, by the way. So there's that.
I heard that. Well, let's go to the break real.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't have a whole heck of a lot to talk about, so let's go to the break, share it out, and then we'll get back to it.
Yep.
All right, hitting the button right now. Countdown, here we go.
A lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked.
There's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating, so I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
Well, I've not heard my name and stable or Baton Rouge and stable in the same sentence in a long time.
I titled it "A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys."
Just, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
Aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
They're making a little bit of progress, but I would definitely have to give the race to Caddo Parish right now. Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anybody from Plain Dealing watching, you think?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Did you or did you not requisition money to fight against this or for it?
We hired a lobbyist. It cost us $15,000. We were opposed to HB 630.
So for this week, folks, the cockroach of the week, according to bossierwatch and Duke Lowry and Rex Moncrief, is
Raymond Cruz legislative assistant, Allie Feast. Thank you, Allie. Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. No way. It was not David. You know it wasn't David Montgomery. David ain't going to jump off in there with Chris. He ain't going to do it. He'd as soon spit on him as he would even look at him. Man, this is a Mickey D's Krispy Kreme wheat. Didn't you know? Who's paying y'all? And if you're driving on the roads, are you safe?
It's on the road, yeah.
Well, I know you're on the road, but I mean, is this all folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to the border. It's actually going to Mexico, the buses.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS. Yeah, that's only going to cause more division that he claims he doesn't want to cause. and it's only going to cause more suspicion. We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing, folks. Coleman Project, a Walker Place deal, through conscious, shocking actions. The purpose of their actions was to stop plaintiffs, being the Earl Coleman and associated groups and all, from developing Walker Place. But here's a key thing, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr.
You hit the button. Does that mean that people are seeing us sitting here talking and chatting?
In theory, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This Bossier Watch live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out for Bossier. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. Well, we're back. Our silly off-air audio where we can communicate with each other during the intro was not working again. I got to troubleshoot this and figure this out.
Yeah, and I'm hearing a lot of sketchy stuff right now. I don't know.
Sketchy stuff?
It's like laggy. But anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so we're not going to have a very long show tonight, folks, for a couple of reasons. One, we'll talk about it. The results are in. And number two, Duke has a little issue that he's got to go take care of here in a little bit. And so we don't want to hold Mr. Lowry up too much. So let's get to it. Shall we get on our soapbox and gripe and well, pardon the phrase, but piss and moan and complain about only 8% turnout in the Bossier City elections? Or I don't know. Is it even worth us griping about at this point?
Well, I don't know that griping is even matter, but I mean it is a indemnification, or if that's the right word, for our society, our lifestyle. It is what our society has become. People don't care. You have become one that is just, let government run my life. Let it dictate it. Let it do whatever it wants. And, I'm shocked. I mean, what was the, you have a republic if you can, was it Benjamin Franklin? You have a republic if you can keep it.
You can keep it.
And
yeah.
We can't keep it. Bottom line is we can't keep it because the people out there, you all can say you're patriots. You all can say that you love your country. You all can say whatever, but you don't.
And look, we knew from the get-go that, of course, this is why the government bodies put these deals on the ballot this time of the year, because they know that the turnout is traditionally going to be very low. I would say probably the exception to that was the 2019 school board tax deal, which had, if I remember correctly, 30, maybe bumping 40% turnout, somewhere in that range, which was relatively high. But something like this, and look, when the mayor can get in front of the city council and the officials can get on front of the news media and just flat out lie and say that the city taxes for Bossier City were for police and firemen pay, which is just a flat out lie. It's not a misspoke or anything silly like that. Just a lie. When they can get on there and nobody challenges them, except for us, and checks them on it, then, of course, the few people that do go and vote, well, they're going to go vote for the police and the fire pay raises, which we know that they're not going to get because our city councilman, the majority of our city council, has their own agenda. And, we can just...
And this local example of government, this right here, I mean, we're not talking Republican, Democrat here. We're talking this right here is why, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is why our country is going to fall apart. And this is why all of you are going to be at each other's throats as neighbor against neighbor. Because when everything starts falling apart, you're going to be robbing from each other. You're going to be like the Banana Republic. I mean, when it all falls apart and you're going to be wondering whose fault it was, all you have to do is just go to your bathroom and look at your mirror, because it's everybody, in our society. It's all our faults. It's all of us's, because
look,
8%, we
simple
don't
math.
care.
That's 8 out of 100 people. I mean, for the easy math, 8 out of 100 people, 100 voters, not 100 teenagers and young kids and whatever. 8 out of 100 voters turned out to vote. And again, it's no shock to us. I thought the percentage may be a little bit higher, but it is what it is. I especially thought with as much press as the pay raise for the first responders got, I thought that more people may turn out to vote to make sure that it went through. But didn't you have somebody tell you, oh, it was a total blowout? I mean, look at that deal, 67% to 33% in the parish renewal, 80% to 20% in one of the city, and 80 and 20 in the other one. And look, the Cypress district, they won 62 to 38%. That was just a total blowout, total rout, a mandate, all those kind of good things. Isn't that right, Mr. Lowry?
Oh, yeah. I understand that all the politicos are like all high-fiving that, oh, we just blew them out. Them, whoever them is, we just blew them out. We blew them out. we just we it was we steamrolled it. I mean,
Well,
I'm sorry, you can't say you steamrolled any damn thing at 8% turnout.
no, you
I
didn't.
mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and look, that's what the government bodies knew, that this fall is a presidential election. So there's going to be arguably a very high turnout, much higher than normal. I would argue, I don't know, 40, 50% turnout maybe if we get lucky. And with that many people voting and that many eyes on tax renewals or tax increases, as some people would see it, they had a good chance of getting shot down. I mean, you look at the Cypress district, when they tried to double their millage rate a few years ago, they did it in the fall, and it got shot down handily. So they learned their lesson there. Actually, it was late summer, early fall. But hey, whatever. So the Cypress district keeps going on. Hopefully the new guard out there will be much better than the previous people that it was shenanigan after shenanigan. I don't know. I guess all the policemen and firefighters are all getting a raise now, because that's what Tommy the mayor told us.
Okay, now wait a minute. So let's talk about that. So all the police and firemen, you got to pass this, or else, according to Tommy, you this went to pay, which it didn't go to pay. So you're not going to lose or gain. But okay, so you're going to continue to have the newest life pack. You're going to have the newest ambulance, or the newest fire truck, or the newest police car, or the newest Glock, or whatever. Okay, but what about your pay? Let's transition to that, Rex. So
yeah, can you go pay your SWEPCO bill with the new Glock? I mean, new Glocks are nice. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, they're nice. But I got the X. I mean, I love it. I got to tell you, I love it. I wish it was 40 and not 9, but I love it.
You show up to the SWEPCO office with the Glock to pay your electric bill, they might think differently about that.
Yeah, they're going to call.
Anyway. They're going to call the rest of the cops anyway.
But speaking of that pay thing, whatever, word on the street is mysteriously mysteriously, before this election, King David has already found the money to give a pay raise.
Oh, what? He just trip over the money and oh, there it is. It's been
Word,
missing all this time. It was right there under the desk.
word on the street is that the police and firemen they got them a pay raise. Now it isn't everything that they wanted or everything that would bring them up to, let's say, even the Southern average, but there is a
Well,
pay raise according to the king, supposedly coming down the pipeline. But here's the catch, Rex. There's always a catch, right?
always the catch.
The catch is it's only half of what they were expecting, and they can't get it until next year. Now, what's ironic about next year?
Oh, let's see, a mayor's race going on.
A mayor's race and a council race. So I think that it would be easy for the king to make a promise that, hey, we're going to give you a pay raise next year, and it'll be half of what you're wanting, or to bring you up to the Southern average. Because, oh, by the way, guess what? If I'm not going to run again, I'm not going to be here to have to pay for it anyway. So I don't give a damn. I'll just pull
Oh,
it out of Parks and Recreation, and you know what? I'll
ooh,
pay you.
he could pull it out
Dixie,
of the Dixie League and the tennis courts.
Dixie League and tennis, y'all can pay your own damn fees.
Yeah, well, it's
I mean,
almost like
look,
they're treating the
but
policemen and the firemen like teenagers, like children. No,
I
no,
mean,
you keep
tennis,
griping. We're not going to give you what you want. We're only going to give you part of it.
tennis or Dixie baseball. I don't know. I mean, or police. I don't know. Which do I take? Do I take the police or do I take the tennis and the Dixie baseball? I don't know.
Hey,
I guess it
Ryan,
depends on if I live in Stonehenge or not.
Ryan Haygood says, I heard they spent $2 million painting the water tower. We should do a public information request for that. I mean, look, everybody needs a good looking water tower like we have. Didn't that thing win some awards? And I mean, heck, it's got a B-52 on the top of it, and hoorah, America.
Well, here's the thing. The rub on the if they give the police, the little bit of raise that they're talking about giving them, wherever they're supposedly finding the money, they've supposedly found some money.
Just tripped
But
over
here's
and
the
found it.
thing. Yep. So, but here's the thing. So for all you popo out there, I'm just wondering how y'all gonna feel about it when they split that money with all the rest of the city employees. When they and I'm not picking on all the other city employees. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I'm sorry, and I'm gonna say this, and y'all can be mad at me or you cannot. The hierarchy of public employees is not the mayor, it's not the city council, but it's the police, and the police comes before the firemen. I mean, the police is what should be the first priority in all of government ahead of everything else. Public safety, period. I mean,
Well,
so when you're talking about giving raises and you're going to give everybody else across the whole city raises, and then you're going to give the police a raise. I, I'm sorry, that's just not the way it should work. It's not. It's a damn good thing I'm not the mayor.
yeah. Well, that would be interesting, though. That would be very interesting. Duke for mayor. We should start that campaign. We should start doing some campaign signs and slogans. Duke for mayor.
Ooh, I get a whole 1% to turn out to vote.
You might
We'd
win.
break we'd break that 8%.
You might win then. Hey, on a positive note, speaking of Duke, uh, Christopher James Norris says, I know y'all are pissed off about the results from this past Saturday, but I want to say that I enjoyed the new crawfish video that y'all put out. Thank you, Christopher James Norris. That was Mr. Lowry himself that did that.
I did do that. I mean, I haven't noticed that a lot of people watched it or whatever, but if you're interested in why crawfish die in a crawfish trap, I mean, and drown, or how a crawfish can drown, there you go. And
Yeah.
the next time you get a bag of crawfish, if you want to test it out, take a glass of water, put it on your counter, take a crawfish that you see is healthy, drop him in that glass of water, and then set your clock and watch how fast before he starts losing his mind trying to get out of that glass of water. And the reason why, it's not because he's just happy with the nice, clean, pure water that you put him in. It's because he breathes all the damn oxygen out of the thing, which is what our government is doing to our community. They're breathing all the oxygen out of our society.
Yeah, no kidding. So you can go over to that logo below Mr. Lowry to the Outdoor News channel and see that video. You know, it's interesting you bring up the tap water because tap water is typically fairly low in oxygen content anyway. It's one of the things I gripe about at fishing tournaments. They put tap water in the fish tank, so when people are bringing their fish up there to weigh them in, they stick them in low oxygen water that's got a high chlorine content. But that's a whole other thing.
That's right.
Oh, I know there's some news. So here, let me switch screens again. Look at this. So this was posted by our friends over at the newly refunded Cypress Black Bayou Recreation Park. Says, unfortunately, they've been informed that the Cypress Shack, that was the folks up there that have that little restaurant up there by the bridge on the far end of Cypress up there, actually pretty good, will have to postpone their operations of the marina at Cypress Black Bayou Park. This is due to some staffing issues that they are trying to work through at this time. However, the park will be opening the marina for operations including fuel, food, and drink sales. Hopefully they'll have this resolved. And our good friend Gwen Harju says, I can't wait to see all the park improvements. We used to visit the park at least a couple of times a year. So, see there, already they got the tax renewal, and just not even 24 hours later, they're making good on their promise to open that darn marina, even though the Cypress Shack people are having staffing issues. See there? It's improvements already, Mr. Lowry.
Well, all I know is my seawall continues to fall in, and nobody out there at that park gives a damn about Black Bayou. All they care about is that stupid park. But so long as Philip Rogers has his pier to the middle of the freaking lake illegal, I mean, they don't care. They don't care. So long as the good old boys are taken care of, and I'm not a good that is the freaking problem. I just
if only you were a good old boy.
Here's what I need to know. I need to see the application to be a good old boy. I need the application because I got to tell you, with 8% of the people, 92% of the people don't give a damn. I'm telling you, I am on the wrong team. I need to throw in with David Montgomery. David, the King, if you're watching, send me the application to the Gob Network. I want to sign up because I am on the wrong team. Because all the 92% of these other people, they don't give a damn. I want to be on the winning team. I need an application. I need to sign up.
You know, we need to dig around and do some requests and do all sorts of things. We need to figure out where that application is. I'm going to try to get an application to be on the Good Old Boy Network before next show next week. How about that, Mr.
I agree. Look, I'm going to give you another one. While we're striking on it, let's strike. Last show, what did I talk about? I talked about term limits. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that? Do you know? So we had right close to 100 people watching on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if, let's just say half of those people had been motivated to take some action, we could have already within this past week had all the required signatures to get term limits in Bossier City. But do you know how many people messaged, reached out, or called about taking action on term limits in Bossier City? You know how many, Rex? Ask me.
Let's see. Hold on. Wait a minute. Listen. That a pretty good indicator right there?
That is exactly right. That's how many. 0. None. So you know what? Just like on the taxes, Nobody cares. The only people that care are the few people, the minority of people that are paying attention to things. They're the only ones that care. So why should I care, Rex? Tell me why I should care. I should join the good old boys. I should want David, the King Montgomery, and Bubba and Darby. I should want them to be there for the next 100 years. I should be contributing to their health care so that they can be there from now to eternity.
Probably so. I wonder how many registered voters. I forget off the top of my head how many registered voters there are in Bossier City. Do you happen to know? Does anybody know that? Colonel Crockett, you're in the comments out there. Does anybody remember how many registered voters there are in Bossier City and Bossier Parish? Let's see. I'm going to do some quick Googling here. Because I wanted to run some quick math on the impact of our show versus how many people voted. Registered voters. All right. And Duke, I know you've got to go here in a little bit. So is that while you're getting your phone blown up?
Yeah, but keep going.
Okay. Hold on. So let me look this up for a minute, folks. Hold on just a second. I should have been a little better prepared. Let's see. How many voters are in I'd have to pull down the spreadsheet. But anyway, I would argue that a pretty good percentage of the folks that watch this show and follow us probably ended up voting. Probably voted no, may have voted yes on a few of those proposals. And look, even if you voted yes, that's okay, as long as you voted. So, I don't know. Colonel Crockett says give him a few minutes. Yeah, I forget how many. I just needed an approximate number, Colonel Crockett, if you have a minute to look that up. But so I would say that, we appreciate, even though we've been whining and complaining for the past couple of shows. Well, last show we were trying to do more positive stuff. That didn't go over real well. But we appreciate everybody that's watching.
Yeah, look, we do appreciate everybody that's watching, and I would contend that the majority of folks that are watching our show, y'all are good people. You're proactive. You're doing things. Now, you ain't stepping up to the plate on term limits. You're not doing that. I'm gonna throw the crap right out here at you, because if that were the case, my phone would have been blowing up all this past week. It's been 7 days since the last show, and I ain't got the first call from anybody about term limits. Nothing. Zero. Nada. You don't care. So if you I just got to stop. I got to stop. I'm beating a dead horse here because they don't care. I'm sorry.
Hey,
they don't care.
But you know who does care? You know who does care? I'm going to share. Positive. I'm going to share another screenshot that you shared out to me. Looky there, our favorite Louisiana Attorney General, and the quote above her says, in case you can't read it, this is a screenshot from Citizens for New Louisiana. Great Facebook page to also follow, of course. We can get rid of the entire Federal Department of Education. We don't need them. And look who that guy is. Sitting right there. Anybody recognize him?
Oh, that's that Seabass guy.
Yeah, Seabass. The one that I made the cute, funny graphic of the Seabass looking dude. I actually kind of look like him.
He's literally standing right behind the governor. He's standing behind the attorney general, and specifically, he's standing behind them about getting rid of the Federal Department of Education.
Of course, I got to point out, for those of you listening to the podcast version, he's standing way in the back.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Do you really, look, so the reason we're showing this is because he was formerly on the school board, and that we're trying to suggest that it's of significance that him being a former school board member and part of the Bossier Parish school system, that's a big deal. But the truth of the matter is even the I shouldn't say leftists, but I mean, the superintendent was like talking about modern day racism in the school system stuff. I mean, even they would be fine with getting rid of the Department of Education. They would be fine with it. Now they wouldn't like having the money cut off.
Right. Yeah, well, that's always the problem with every government entity that you speak to. And look, you know, we're make it no secret, we're on pretty favorable terms with Ryan Gaddy and all that. But he has told me many times in conversations that it's the multiplier effect with the tax dollars. To get the $6 or $7 from the federal government, you got to spend $1. And the only problem I have with that is he's factually correct about that, but it just keeps us further and further dependent on our federal government. That's unfortunate. Hey, I want to point out something. So our good friend Jeffrey Sadow said almost 75 registered voters in the parish. And miraculously, if you take that 75,000 and find 8% of that, that's 6,000. That's the approximate number of followers we have on Bossier Watch. Let's see. He also says about 33.5 registered voters in Bossier City. So I don't think. Let's see. I would say we're more parish wide. So I'll go with that number. I say 8% of the people, Bossier Watch followers, voted in the elections over the weekend. I'm running with that number. I like that narrative. I like that spin, Mr. Lowry.
Well, I mean, look, as much as I would like to think that we have some effect, I mean, look, we don't reach enough people. We don't inform enough people. That's why we say every show, we tell people that do watch and do listen to us, we're grateful that people do listen to our opinion. We don't demand that people agree with us. I mean, we broach all subjects and we talk about crap. We throw our 2 cents in of what we think. We try to have dialogue about it and make people think and form your own opinion. But we would like to think that we have some effect on things. But the bottom line is there's just not enough people who are, I hate to say this, informed on all the subjects, like the Cypress District, the library board. I mean, if you knew all the details of the Cypress District, how in good conscience could you vote to renew and give them more money? The same with the library system. I mean,
we have spent literal hours and hours and hours talking about those subjects ad nauseum, done untold hours of digging and research and had guests on and all that. And still, it appears to be for naught. I don't know if it's really for naught. But look, Cindy Ulrich says we voted, but it obviously didn't do any good since everything passed. Well, that is true, Cindy, but at least you made your voice heard. At least you were one of the 8% that made your voice heard. So there's always that. All right. Let's do our final 2 things, and then we'll let you get out of here, Mr. Lowry. How about that?
No, so no.
No?
No.
Oh, you're hanging out?
Yeah, I'm hanging out. We're still doing more.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show one of these things, so hold on just a second. So I don't know if everybody has seen it yet, and I know it may be a little difficult to read on the screen because the font's a little small, but apparently some federal judges have thrown out the most recent Louisiana congressional gerrymandering attempt, as I call it. Said Louisiana's proposed congressional map that created a second black majority district has been thrown out by 2 federal court judges. U.S. District Judges David Joseph and Robert Summerhays said in a ruling late Tuesday that the map equated to racial gerrymandering, which is not permissible under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. And of course, the 3rd judge on the panel disagreed with that and apparently felt that this map was not gerrymandering. Now, I don't go back to basic civics back in junior high and high school days. I mean, I don't know if that's not gerrymandering starting here and extending all the way down to New Orleans. I don't know what is.
Well, Walk on Water was saying that, hey, we should take it to court and we should challenge it in the first place. And, of course, the legislature chose not to do that. They drew the map. A question was posed, and this also gets into this ultimately transitions into the Supreme Court, Louisiana Supreme Court redistricting as well, too, because everything was prefaced on the fact that this one federal judge, a liberal federal judge, was, of the opinion that they needed to be another minority district. Well, federal law says you can't draw districts based on race, but yet a federal judge said, oh, it needs to be a minority district. Well, apparently somebody along the line said, "Oh, wait a minute, you can't do that."
Yeah,
So,
that was Senate Bill 8, SB 8. So I'm reading here from the news article from KTBS. Created SB 8 created the current redistricting map earlier this year in a special session of the Louisiana legislature. It was drawn under orders from Judge Shelley Dick, who demanded lawmakers come up with a second majority minority district or she would draw one herself.
clearly legislating from the bench. There's this thing called separation of powers, but yet you've got a judiciary these days that doesn't enforce the law, but rather makes the law and, is shaping the country. We see it happening in the DC federal court. We see it happening with SCOTUS. We see it happening all across. I mean, look, the rule of law is, what is that saying in that movie? Kaput.
Yeah.
Other than Patton, kaput.
Well, all right. So let me readjust the screen here for a second because this is kind of interesting. This last paragraph here. And again, I realize it's probably kind of hard to read. So it says, at the trial this month, the plaintiffs said it was drawn predominantly for predominantly racial reasons, making it unconstitutional. The defendants said there were many traditional tenets of redistricting involved, plus political motives like gerrymandering. I added that in, including protecting the districts of none other than Julia Letlow, Steve Scalise, and House Speaker Mike Johnson. Imagine that. So, anyway.
Imagine that.
Got thrown out. Wes Marriott says Judge Shelley Dick sounds like a made-up villain name. Yes, the next Marvel Comics deal.
Careful, Weston. The last time you made some comment like that, you had us doing a special show.
Yeah, of which we've not heard a peep out of that since then, have we?
No comment.
No comment. All right, that's your story, and you're sticking to it. Okay.
Hey, plain dealing's got some problems, Rex.
What's going on in plain dealing? How can plain dealing have some problems? They got this brand new sawmill up there, all these jobs. They got the Port Authority behind it. I mean, everything's good, right?
Okay, so for the less than 8%, I mean, so look, 8% was, 60-40. So and that's being fair, 60-40. So 40% of 8% of you that care, because that's obviously what it is. 40% of 8% of the parish that cares. So as y'all know, the port, who expanded their authority by way of the legislature, and some of our legislators, to be able to, if they so choose, to come in and put a turd factory next to your house to where not only the police jury, your city government, or any other governmental body could not stop them. They have more power than God. And if y'all think I'm making this up, I mean, I don't even know what show it was, but we covered all this and showed it in depth. But by all means, if you question us, call Danny McCormick or call Cedric Glover. I give you, a Democrat and a Republican. Call them and verify if what I'm saying is accurate or not, because what I'm saying is absolutely 100% true. They gave themselves the authority to come in and expropriate and do whatever they wanted to with no accountability. So they came in, expanded their authority to be able to spend taxpayer dollars to bring business in to wherever they wanted to. So they came to Plain Dealing to bring this wood mill, right?
Right. What could be wrong with that?
No, I mean, it sounds awesome. We got this wood mill, but you know what? A wood mill needs water.
Well, yeah.
And apparently there's an issue with water in Plain Dealing. So I'm just telling you, I had a resident up there reach out to me, and a resident in Plain Dealing said, "Hey," they had called down to the city and said, "Hey, did y'all turn the water off?" And so he said, what are you talking about?" They said, "Because I ain't got no water."
Oops.
What do you mean? They ain't supplying the wood mill. They ain't got enough water to supply the residences. There's people running out of water up there.
So we can't really blame that on the police jury this time. I guess the town of Plain Dealing has their own water system, right?
Oh yeah, you remember that? Because remember we did some shows talking about how they were taking gallons of chlorine bleach and just pouring in the water tanks.
Yeah.
So now they got this big industrial water, wood mill that they're supposed to be supplying water to, and they can't even supply water to it. And people living in their houses don't even have enough water. It almost makes me wonder. I mean, city of Bossier and the big water line going south Bossier. I mean, do you think there'll come the day when the citizens of Bossier are not going to be able to have water? And with a big water line going to the port?
But wait a minute, I've got a master plan here, and this will help out the Cypress District as well, and kind of, coincidentally or collaterally, help you also, Duke.
Oh, I'm dying to hear this.
Cypress Lake and Black Bayou are reservoirs. Their primary directive when they were built was supplying water. They're reservoirs. It wasn't all for all you fancy homeowners around the lake. It wasn't really for the park. It wasn't for all us bass fishing guys out there. It was to supply water. So maybe the Cypress District could reach out to the town of Plain Dealing, and they could work out some kind of deal and maybe get this nice new wood mill to help fund it. And they could build a pipeline all the way from Cypress Lake up to Plain Dealing.
And supply water. But there ain't but one problem with that, Rex. I mean, they need, treated water, I think, up there. But, historically, I do know that, Cypress and Black Bayou built for the purposes of agriculture and supplying water and a backup water supply for Bossier City. But I do know of one request historically that was made of the Cypress Black Bayou district for water from Cypress and Black Bayou for the purposes of agriculture. It was actually on the Atkins Saunier plantation, to which the Cypress Black Bayou district denied that request and wouldn't supply water to them.
Well, that's odd. I mean, they supplied water to the frackers not too long ago.
Well, they sure did. But so I guess, you taxpayers, y'all are paying for individual unelected bureaucrats to be able to pick winners and losers within your community. You just didn't know it. Like our police juryman up here being able to build his boat pier all the way. I think he needs to build his boat pier completely across the lake. That way he can have the shortest route to get to the courthouse.
He could build it and come all the way around the point there in front of David and Renee's house and come build it all. He could just wrap it all the way around the point and go in front of Mike Collier's house.
Well, no, he needs to tie it into Mike Collier's pier so he could take a pit stop and take a break, get in the coat, pop.
Have his own place to walk. and exercise. Yeah.
He can just pull up into Collier's, get him a little pop, take a break, then he can jet on across the lake, finish his route.
Yeah. That's a brilliant idea.
I'm just saying, I think that's the way it needs to go.
I'm going to put it back up on the screen again, but Wes is on a roll tonight. He said if only they had Manchac to manage their water system. Paging Ruttenbuck, where you at, Ben Ruttenbuck? You need to head up to Plain Dealing, go talk to them about managing their water supply.
The problem is they ain't got no money. And you know how I know they ain't got no money? Because I'm also getting reports that Plain Dealing is they're overdrawn on their bank accounts. That's what I'm hearing.
Well,
I'm hearing
maybe they have overdraft protection.
I'm just saying, I'm hearing that's why Ruttenbuck don't care about going up there. I mean,
ain't no money in it for him.
He's going to go to the Cypress District. I mean, in Bossier City, because they got taxpayer dollars. You all just, 8%. Y'all go vote for them taxes. I know, David. Money for Manchac. Hell David, yeah, we're there.
Queen David and company are good at borrowing money, so he can just get a piece of that pie all he wants. But so anybody that's listening from the big town of Plain Dealing, let us know. Bossier Watch a Proton Mail. Make a free Proton Mail account. If you don't want us to know who you are, keep it anonymous. But, if you got some video or whatever to share of your water dribbling out of your faucet instead of flowing like it should, let us know.
Now, from what I understand, Plain Dealing, I don't understand that there's anything nefarious going on or if there's any, shady business going on. It ain't nothing like that. It's just that Plain Dealing they're trying to do good and they kind of got their backs against their wall. Now, I will say there's some stuff out there on some of their council, their parish council. There's some stuff going on with some of the members of their parish council up there. But as far as their government, I think they're trying to do right, but it's just, they got their backs against the wall. Small town, doesn't have a lot of money.
Small town, they got a huge demand on the water system now, and they got to figure out how to scale up the operation somehow.
Maybe the port needs to reach out to the Red River Waterway Commission, and they need to dig a diversion off the river over there to Plain Dealing so they'll have some water.
Maybe so. Hey, Paul Johnson says the port can bond out the cost for a new treatment plant. See? You'd have
thought that the port would have thought about all that before they went, ramrodding this thing through there. What are we gonna do if we need water?
Who knew that a wood mill might need lots of water? I mean, just the sprinkler systems alone to keep all that wood cooled down.
Maybe this was the plan all along. Paging Manchac, Ruttenbuck, where are you?
Let's see here. There is a new water well being put in on Old Plain Dealing Road now. Well, anyway.
How about that?
All right. Hey, have you heard about these protests going on? I mean, I know this is Bossier Watch, so we're kind of delving off just a little bit into national stuff, which we try to keep, under the Louisiana Watch umbrella. But have you seen these protests?
I have seen some of the protests, and to be honest with you, I'm like ignoring them a little bit. I mean, just some more gobbledygook. I mean, there's no law and order anymore in this country, so all I know is that if these jackwagons show up on my doorstep, it's not going to be fun and games. That all this other crap, it's going to be business, and so I just ignore it, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't blame you, but I do want to show this video, which of course is on Facebook. But let me hit the play button here. I thought this is a pretty good way to handle some of these protesters. Hold on, here we go.
You're hurting me. Just don't lift me. You're hurting me. Ow! 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 Help!
I love it. They need to give that guy a promotion.
It's one way to handle petulant children. Watch one more time. Here we go.
You're going whether you like it or not.
Just don't lift me. Ow! Ow! Help!
I love it.
What pronouns that guy uses, or girl, or whatever that was. I don't know. It's hard to tell these days.
I don't know, but all you people better get ready because that's coming to your front doorstep.
Yeah,
it's coming.
That's the education level of America right now. It's a shame.
Yep.
Let's see.
We've got some hard times ahead of us, and 90%, no, 92% of you out there, you have no idea what's coming. You're going to be the ones. You 92%. You are the ones that are going to be the problem because you're going to lose your mind, and it's us. I hate to say 8% because it's truly not 8%. It's only 4% of the 8% are the ones that are going to have to fight off you 96%.
Yeah.
Y'all are the problems.
Yeah, the real problems. Val Baker says tear gas them. Tear gas, pepper spray. There's lots of ways to take care of that. Our good friend David Womack says, why are they protesting? Well, they are apparently pro-Palestinian protesters at these campuses. They don't like the way Israel is treating the Palestinians over there in the Gaza Strip and all those poor Hamas people.
Are you sure that was a right? I think they were protesting steak. I think they're vegan and they don't like steak.
Steak and eggs. They don't like either one.
Yeah, I'm confident that that's what that was.
So, anything else you want to discuss this evening, Mr. Lowry?
I got nothing. I'm just saying, you know what? People, only 4% of y'all out there. To the 4%, I tip my hat to you. You are the quote unquote patriots. And of that 4% that want term limits in Bossier City, I tip my hat to no one because there's none of you out there. None of you you say you want it, but you don't. But to the 4% that showed up and voted, and were educated on taxes, hat tip to you. You did your part. I guess I should say even the ones at 8%, I'm assuming that they were educated in their vote.
Well, like I said, either way you voted, the deal is at least you voted if you voted for or against them, but at least you made your voice heard. I mean, I don't know. That's about all I can say about that.
That's all I can say.
Right. Well, you need some help turning wrenches, Mr. Lowry?
I do not. I got this.
Okay. If you do, you know where I live. Just text me. All right, folks. Go ahead.
Have a good night. Appreciate it. Check out Outdoor News. We're putting a lot of good content out there. If you want to find out what makes crawfish drown. If y'all didn't know that a crawfish can drown in a crawfish trap, you need to go to the Outdoor News and check it out because there's a video that'll tell you why a crawfish will drown.
Yeah, drowning crawfish, eels, thunderstorms. There's lots going on over there. Anyway, y'all go check it out. All right, Mr. Lowry. See you next week and maybe later this week if we do some other shows. We'll let everybody know. We're out of here.